Hi guys and welcome to Carflix. Today we're going to be working on the RCZ repairing a broken wheel bearing. So without further ado, let's crack on with that video. So this is my rear passenger wheel and I was getting some real rumbling at about 50 miles an hour. So I jacked her up and had a look and this is what I found. You can hear a grumbling coming from this. Now it shouldn't sound like that. You can hear the disc touching the pad slightly, that's normal. But that grumbly shouldn't be there. The other giveaway was, I've got movement on up and down. Non side to side, but I have got one here. So I'm gonna crack on and change this wheel bearing. Remove the 5 17mm bolts holding on the wheel. Using a 14mm ratchet and a 15mm spanner, remove the caliper and place to the side. Using a set of vice grips, clamp them to the disc to prevent it from binning while you remove the retaining screw. Slide the disc out of the carrier. Then remove the hub nut cover using a hammer and chisel, not forgetting to pry out the hub nut tabs. So now I've got that off, you can clearly hear how bad that is. It's so bad. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get this massive socket which is a 40mm and I'm going to prise this off because it looks like it's going to be very, very tight to get off this. That's off, that was bloody tight. I'm now going to put this claw mechanism in here which I bought. And this is going to pull the bearing off of the spline. And yeah, we should all be good then. So, bear with me while I get this off. First, I tried to use my impact gun, but that didn't really seem to work. So what I had to do in the end was just use a normal ratchet and slowly turn it until it started to pull out. This was quite time consuming, but you just got to stay with it until you've got the whole thing out. I managed to get that off. It has left this on. Apparently this happens quite a lot. So these are my old knackered bearings. A little trick, my pulling tool wasn't quite long enough to get in there. You get a 14mm, slide that in, it gives you the extra kind of width you need to get in there. So that's a cool little trick. Right, now I've got to somehow get this off. I'm hoping a pry bar will do the trick. But these are on quite tight, I've seen. And from what I've been told, the best thing to do is to cut this with a hacksaw. So yeah, I'm going to cut this with a hacksaw now. I have absolutely no idea what that colour is made from, but there was no way a hacksaw was going to cut through that. Anyway, now I thought it would be a good idea to share with you how I upgraded my cutting tools. I recently thought, why not upgrade my arsenal, and I went and I bought a new DeWalt power tool. But me being me, I stupidly didn't realise I bought just a bare unit and had no batteries to go with it. I did, however, have an old DeWalt drill, but this being old and the battery being so small, it just wouldn't power the new tool correctly. By chance, E+ Batteries got in contact with me and sent out one of their own DeWalt-compatible batteries. So this is what they sent me out. This one is 20 volt, 9 milliamp hours. It's got the correct heading so it'll fit on my power tool, and it's also got a battery indicator. The quality of this product seems pretty good and it feels very hefty, so I'm assured that this will 100% work with my DeWalt. I think the first thing we need to do is see if this powers and fits on my old drill. Wow, it actually does. Right, let's see if it works. That works absolutely fine, and I think this thing is really old as well, but you can definitely tell that it's powerful enough to use my old drill. Let's see if I'll use my new power tool. So this is my new power tool that I'm going to be using on future projects. That clips straight in. Wow, no problem at all. Let's get this thing home and let's see if this will actually charge in the original charger. Slide it in, clips in, and yes, as you can see, this is perfectly charging as a normal DeWalt battery would. So would I recommend this battery on working on my tools? 100% yes. They're a lot cheaper than the DeWalt ones, they fit perfectly, and they're a hell of a lot cheaper than going directly to the manufacturer. And finally, I got it off. Okay, that was a nightmare. I had to, in the end, because I've got no power down here, to get a Dremel, attach it to an electric drill, and then cut a big groove in it, and it's only now just started to come off. So I'm going to pull this ring off and then start fitting the new wheel bearing. Now the process for fitting this wheel bearing is quite a long and tedious process. What you've got to do is basically keep hammering it down the shaft. The way I did this was get the original 40mm socket and just keep hammering it, giving some WD-40 here and there to help it slide on, until eventually you'll be able to see the threads. Once you've got the threads low enough, you can then attach the new hub nut and start tightening it down until it will eventually start squeezing and pushing it all the way to the very end of the hub. Once you're confident enough the hub nut is all the way on, then start using your hammer and chisel to bend in the hub nut tabs. Finally, using a hammer, tap on your hub nut cover. Reinstall the brake disc and then put in the retaining screw. Reinstall the brake pads and brake caliper. And reinstall the wheel. And there you have it, guys. One wheel bearing done and no movement at all. That was a very difficult job because the collar got stuck on the back. That was probably the hardest bit, but just take your time and persist and you'll get there. It's so much better. I can't wait to take this for a test drive. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.